back with another live. This is Thanksgiving Thursday, November 20th, 2024, and it's about 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just want to tell you why the Packers must win tonight, the Green Bay Packers. And I put up a post on Facebook stating this, and Facebook removed my post. Basically, Green Bay Packers used to be called the packing company. It used to be called the Green Bay Packing Company because that is the meat company, the meat packing company that sponsored the Green Bay Packers in 1919 when I think it was 1919, yes, when they first came out. And also, it used to actually be called an Indian meat packing company. They were called the Indians before they were called the Green Bay Packers. So anything referring to the Indians or anything with the name Indian during this time period in which we are means that they will win. Any games you see referring to Indians or Chiefs will win because this is the era where all of the land, all of the laws, all of the governments will be returned back to the Aboriginal people on the planet. And it's very, very interesting when I predicted that the Green Bay Packers would win and posted on my Facebook page and said earlier today, they have to win because they're trying to tell us a story. The elites are letting us know that it is the original people on the land time to have their governments restored. So the Republican of our country, the Constitution, all of it was based on the Iroquois people or Iroquois people, the Aboriginal copper colored people found here by Christopher Columbus. Our governments were overtaken by the people that, not necessarily by the Europeans, but the people that came here, the bloodline families, and masqueraded as humans and then put certain people in place to take our country away from us and to take away our language, our identity, our culture, everything. And so the people in power, the elite, they're trying to hang on. They're hanging on by a string, and they don't want you to know that the so-called Black people and the African Americans on this land were actually prisoners of war. We did not come from African slave ships. We did not come from the transatlantic slave era. We were already here. And it's interesting, whenever I post a post on YouTube and I say this, they will either demonetize my videos or give me limited monetization because they don't want me to make money and they don't want you to know the truth. So again, the Packers must win because the elites are speaking to each other saying our time is up. The old guard, the new world order, their time is up. Now, if they win and the score happens to be 41 from the Packers, then you know they're saying that that is our time, because 41 is equivalent, as according to those who study numerology has told me, is equivalent to king. 14 is equivalent to white supremacy. So the system of white supremacy, which has nothing to do with race, is over. That time period, that era is over. That has nothing to do with race. It's all about who is supreme, who had the status of white. Originally, it was the Aboriginal people here, but the status of white then was overtaken by bloodline families. And they told you that it had to do with race. They told you it had to do with color, complexion of color, and the different people here on the planet. But they don't want you to know it's our time. This is, again, why the Chiefs won the Super Bowl a couple years against the Eagles, because the Chiefs represent the Aboriginal people on the land, we the people, whereas the Eagles represented the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, you can look it up, chose the eagle symbol to represent them because it's a predatory bird and it's known for its prowess and predatory prowess. So the Roman Catholic dynasty that was running everything during the Roman Empire chose that symbol to let you know that they're predators. The United States Incorporated, which ran the whole country here in America, and basically not just America, but all over the world, who were those bloodline families, actually made us think that the Roman Empire was over. But the United States Incorporated was just the Roman Empire, or the pseudo-Roman Empire. The Roman Empire had never collapsed. It was never over. The United States Incorporated just continued on the Roman Empire. But again, when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, they were letting us know their time was up. United States Incorporated, the Roman Empire, the bloodline families, their time was over and everything was turned back over to the chiefs on the land. Then you saw the Chiefs win against the 49ers. The 49ers actually represented San Francisco, Silicon Valley area, where they stole the gold from Queen Khalifa, who was an Aboriginal copper-colored so-called Black queen in California. They stole her gold, and then they created the bloodline families, and then they created Silicon Valley, and they had all those tech companies. But I told you guys when the 49ers were playing against the Chiefs, they're going to lose too, because the Chiefs on the land are back in control. All those people that stole the gold, they will have to cease and desist. And that Silicon Valley, I said, they're going to all be destroyed and they're going to all be bankrupt and collapse. And that's exactly what we saw happening. So when I found out the Green Bay Packers were playing tonight against whatever company, I can't even remember whatever team it was. It didn't even matter. Once I saw that it was the Green Bay Packers, I text my friend who's a Moor. I said, well, I was trying to decide who was going to win. I should have bet. I said, it's going to be the Green Bay Packers because they used to be called the Indians at some point. And they were bought out by a packing company, Indian, what is it called? A Green Bay packing company. And then I don't have my notes before me, but you look it up, it'll tell you, and they even had a mascot of the Indians, and they were called the Indians at one point. So I said, well, it's a wrap. They have to win because all of those bloodline families that usurped authority from the Aboriginal people have to cease and desist. They have to lift the veil from our eyes. They have to take away the quarantine. They have to lift the quarantine that's been on the planet. And I told you on my podcast earlier today, the quarantine from the planet Earth has to be lifted. It will be lifted. They have to do all that. Lift the quarantine, open up our eyes, tell the truth, and return the land back over to the Aboriginal people. They have to restore everything that's been stolen from us. And that's good for everybody on the planet, because the Aboriginal people in this Moroccan dynasty, which America was called Turtle Island, we were called Morocco. Okay. We believed in truth, justice, peace, freedom, and there's another one, love, I think it was. So anybody, once the land is turned back over to us, and once the republic is restored back to the Aboriginal people here, anybody who resonate on that frequency of love, truth, freedom, peace, and justice, you guys let me know what the 5 pinnacles of the Moorish dynasty is. Anybody resonating with that frequency, again, that can get along with those principles, they will be allowed to stay in America. But anybody who doesn't resonate with that frequency, they will have to go back home to wherever they came from. It just is what it is. And so Facebook doesn't want me to talk about it. YouTube doesn't want me to talk about it, but it is what it is. We give thanks for all the people that came over here in America, and they were able to have a new life, and they were able to do some wonderful, beautiful things. But they must understand and overstand and know that any benefits that they got from the old system, from joining secret societies, from agreeing to those old paradigms, they're going to be taken away. You have to resonate on the frequency of the Aboriginal copper-colored people who were not owners, but the first inhabitants here in America. I don't care if you own YouTube. I don't care if you own Facebook. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what secret society you belong to. You cannot overtake my message, because I am the descendant of the people who created the Republic and the Constitution. So you can be mad, you can demonetize me, you can do whatever you want, but the message is true and the message will remain clear. And I'm going to continue to speak the message, because you have no power, no victory, and no authority over me. And I bind you, I put you under my feet. I declare that you will have no victory over any people on this planet. You must cease and desist. You must stop everything that you're doing, and all the assets that you have been frozen, and they will be disseminated back to the people. So I just wanted to encourage you, family, and let you know that it is our time. It is our time. All of the humanity on the planet, We will all have freedom. We will all have peace. We will all have justice. We will all have victory. We will all have abundance because the Creator, also known as Source, has declared it to be so. And there are bloodline families that have stored up gold and wealth through the Solomon bloodline, but that's not just them. We have Asian bloodline families. We have Aboriginal American bloodline families. They won't tell you about those bloodline families because anything dealing with the copper colored people in America, they try to keep all that information from the people. They don't want you to know anything that's dealing with us. They want you to just keep looking at us as black slaves, having no standing in law, being dead according to the law. They don't want the information to get out. But I'm going to keep telling the message. I don't care how much they fight me. We all win because the Moroccan dynasty has been restored. And all nations all over the world did not want to deal with the United States Incorporated. And they've been waiting for us to wake up and recognize who we are. And that's why President Donald Trump said Black people need to know their history, because if they don't know their history, they don't know where they're going, and it will continue to live in perpetual poverty. He kept alerting people that look like me, you must know your history. And now we're waking up. So let me talk to y'all for a minute. The people that look like me, stop calling yourself Black. Stop calling yourself African American. You're not a Negro, okay? You're Aboriginal. You were the original people here. The 1828 Webster's definition for American is the copper-colored people found here by Christopher Columbus. And the deep state is trying to tell you that. They're telling you in their games, in their messages, in their movies. If you look at the numerology, they're telling you in false flag events, Black Swan events, mainstream media, and they're doing it in codes. So watch out for anything dealing with Indian. Anybody who comes and plays a game against the Indians, they will lose. Anybody that has anything bad to say about the Indians, they will lose because their era, the deep state's era, is completely over. Okay. And I'm laughing. I know that they don't want us to have this information because, again, they demonetize my platforms, or they put limited monetization on my videos, or they'll take that. They literally took down my Facebook post because I think it's because I predicted the Packers would win. Now, that's just me. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I'm just talking from what I know from my history and from my research and from just the downloads that I get from Source. So again, the Packers have to win because they used to be called Indians. I don't think they have a mascot right now, but they used to have one. It was the Indian. And when you look it up, where the Packers get their name from, they'll tell you that they were bought by a meat packing company. And then they'll talk about the Indians and their relationship to the meat packing company. So somebody says, you go, girl, Apocalypse. They were originally called the Indian Packers. Thank you. That's what it was. They were originally called the Indian Packers. We know our stuff. We do our research over here. Somebody says, speak the truth, Empress. That's right. Islam family. Where we go one, we go all, family. We had all as a human race been enslaved as a people, and we were all as a human race or as a God race. No, we may not. Be liberated together, and we will enjoy peace and prosperity together. So I just wanted to let you know this message is going to continue to come because it's the truth. It's the truth. Even Putin, when he uncovered the vaults, he wanted the people to see that Jesus and the biblical characters look like me. And of course they did. Even the Bible says he had hair like wool, and it talked about his skin being brass. And some people will say it doesn't matter. Yes, it matters. It may not matter to some people, but it matters to a group of people who've been oppressed, through many generations and told that you're worthless, you're Black, you're dead in law, you have no standing in law, you don't matter, your language has been taken away from you, your artifacts were stolen and put in the Smithsonian. We know that now. You're nothing but slaves that came on slave ship through the transatlantic slave trade. Lying to us, it matters. It all matters. History matters. Our culture matters. Our language matters. The true story matters. Okay. And if anybody doesn't like it, they're just going to have to get over it. Okay. Because there are lots of people who claim to be American and stole our identity and enjoyed the spoils of living here while we were oppressed and put down further than anybody else in America. They enjoyed the benefits. Well, now when the dynasty is being returned, as long as they can resonate on those frequencies of love, peace, justice, freedom, and truth, then they'll be able to get along. Was we used to have treaties with people that came here, but those treaties were not honored, not at all. And so they better hope that when a dynasty is returned to the people who had the dynasty before it was usurped from those bloodline families, they better hope we still keep those treaties in place and we don't tear them up since they were not honored. So Obama told everybody Morocco was the only or the first people, the first nation to recognize us as our own nation. Trump said the same thing. Morocco, here, this is called Morocco. This is Egypt. This is Morocco right here. This is Israel right here. We were the ones who recognized the Europeans that came here as their own nation. They had their own laws, they had their own flag. And that the red, white, and blue flag is not our flag. It's not the American flag. It is the European people that came over here, our brothers and sisters, their banner of commerce. So they had their own way of doing things. We recognized them as their own nation. We appreciated them. We had treaties together, but the bloodline families came between us and caused division and dissension. The Moroccan flag is the flag that's red with the green 5-pointed star. That is the flag of this dynasty. So that's why you see two flags in the White House. You can even look it up. Do Google Hillary Clinton stands underneath two flags, or there are two flags in the White House. You will see the banner of trade and commerce flag, the red, white, and blue flag. And then you will see the Moroccan flag, because the Moroccan flag represents the dynasty that was here before the bloodline families took over our dynasty, took over our country, and created their own constitution of the United States Incorporated. And they incorporated themselves in 1871 as a nonprofit religious organization controlled by the Vatican. And they had the ego symbol. We never had an ego symbol. So it's two dynasties that were operating side by side, because our dynasty was overtaken and usurped. But that's it. It's over. It's a wrap for them. And as I said earlier today, the veil has been lifted, the quarantine has been lifted, and the people are awakening as we've ascended to the age of Aquarius. So our crown chakras are activated. And that's why they talked about, again, corona, because corona means crown, as in your crown chakra, this energy center above your head. It's being activated and awakened. So now you're ascending in consciousness. You're becoming more aware. You're tapping in, to your God powers, your queen powers, your king powers, your kingship, your godship. And no longer are you going to be acting like a mere human. Human means monster. You're going to be acting like gods. The scripture says you are gods. It says that in two places. You are gods in flesh. You literally have superpowers, and those superpowers are being activated right now. And I'm speaking life into you right now to awaken those of you who are not awakened, so that you can start walking and talking like God. So you can start commanding victory. You can start commanding prosperity. You command healing. You command authority. You take authority over everything that's against you and your family and your bloodline. And you speak life into your children. You speak life into your elders. You speak life into the atmosphere. You go out and take what belongs to you. Okay. You command prosperity. You don't have to get on your knees and beg a God or anybody else. You command things to be so, because you are God in flesh. You have dominion over everything. So start speaking it. Speak dominion, speak life, speak prosperity, speak healing, speak everything that you desire, and it will be so, because you said it. So that's it, family. I love you. I just want you to stay encouraged. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Happy Thanksgiving. They can't stop you, family. You got to keep going. Where we go one, we go all. It's our time now. I love you. Somebody said I'm glowing so much lately. Thank you. Yes, 2024 is the actual Jubilee year. Do I think the RV will come before the end of December? I think it will come before the end of the Jubilee year. Now, it depends upon whether or not you're looking at the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar. And some people say that 2024 actually will, this whole Jubilee year will end in February. So I'm not sure when it will happen. I don't want to predict dates, but if you look at the events, it looks like the currencies have already revalued. We're just waiting for them to be reinstated back to their normal value based on the resources that each countries have. So at the end of every empire, they rack up the debt, they spend the credit, they crash that system and move towards a new monetary system based on gold and silver. We see that happening now with the BRICS coalition: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, deciding that they're going to stop trading with the dollar and use gold for trade and use their local currencies backed by gold for trade. Here in America, if you look up the Sound Money Defense League, they tell you now all the states here, that with the way they say is more than 45 states here, have reclaimed silver and gold as money. If you look up a King's World article, it says the world is hurtling back towards using gold as money. So we're already on the gold standard behind the scenes. All of the debts here in America and all across the world have already been paid up or paid off with the gold and the other assets. Now we're just waiting on certain signals for them to release the trusts that have been created by many bloodline families, many like Asian bloodline families, African bloodline families, American bloodline families, and different bloodline families from all over the world that stored up gold for such a time as this to liberate humanity. We're just waiting for the official green light, but it's already been done behind the scenes. Okay, this is not just me declaring it, so it has been done. It's over. It's finished. So now it's up to us to start living like it, acting like it, walking like it, speaking like it. Then we will usher that into our reality. Because again, you're God. You, it's a universal principle. We're all one. We are our source. Source lives in every human or every being, I should say. Source lives in the animals, in the insects, in everything that's around us. We're all source. We're all one. And since we came from source or this high vibrational frequency that they call God, then we can speak anything that we desire into existence. We just have to start living like it now and attaching joyous emotions to it, like literally feel liberation, feel wealth, feel abundance. Imagine how amazing it is. Think about it, write it down, walk in it, be around nice, beautiful fabrics, nice, beautiful scenery, go outside, walk in nature, speak life all around you. And as you do that and attach joyous emotions to it, you will rapidly bring that into your reality and your timeline, and everybody else would catch on. Okay. Because anybody that is around you when your vibrational frequencies are up, they can't help but feel those frequencies and live in that resonance or live in that vibration just like you. So I don't want to keep you long, family. Somebody told me earlier today that I'm long-winded, and they said you were going to read the Benjamin Fulford report about how the Earth's quarantine is going to be lifted, but then you start talking about JFK. And I said, look, whenever I take a step back and I start talking about something before I get into the podcast, I'm laying the framework so that you can understand or understand why I'm saying something and how everything that's happening is interrelated. So love, truth. Thank you. Thank you. Who is that? D Love says, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice are the five principles of the Moroccan dynasty, the Moorish dynasty. Moors, Murs, the Aboriginal people's dynasty that was here before the bloodline families came and usurped authority from us and made us indentured servants or prisoners of war. It's why they put drugs in our community, guns in our community, and abortion clinics in our community. It's why they put programs and paradigms that cause the men and women to fight against each other. It's why they did so much to try to break us down and tear us down and take away our language, our culture, everything. And then once they oppressed us and depressed us to the point they couldn't depress us anymore, then they were going to go after our European brothers and sisters that came here running from the enslavement that they were enduring in Europe. Okay. Then after they oppressed them to the point where they couldn't be depressed or oppressed anymore, then they were going to go after all the immigrants, that the illegal immigrants that they allowed to come over here. So what they kept allowing people to come over here to take, all the land, the wealth, and the jobs, the resources, etc., so that we can all fight amongst each other and be deterred and not see that these bloodline families who are not human had done this to us to enslave us. But we've awakened. Our crown chakra is activated. Remember, I told you when the CV happened, they shut down the world. They first called that sickness corona because they were speaking in codes to one another, saying their crown chakra is elevated. It's activating. They're awakening. We've got to suppress them. We got to keep them down. We got to unalive them. And so that's why they put that CV virus into the atmosphere to try to get rid of as many of us as they could. But you know what? No matter what they did to us, we still lived. We're still here. And now we're ascending even higher in frequency. We're going to exceed the fifth dimension even. So I just want to encourage you, family. People going to have to wake up, and the elite are telling us that it's our time. They're telling us that the Roman Empire is over. The draconians, reptilians, the archons, all these interdimensional beings that enslaved the whole planet have to leave. The quarantine has been lifted, and they have to leave through the portals from which they came. It's a wrap. Soon, yes, our wealth is going to be released. You're going to have an emergency broadcast system announcement, and all the things that many of us have been speaking is going to come out for the whole world to see. But they're letting us know in any game that they play that their time is over. It's a wrap. So that's it, family. Again, I want you to have a happy Thanksgiving, and I will speak to you soon. I don't want to keep you from your family. Take care, family. Mwah. Have a magnificent evening. And let's see, in fact, what the score is. It might be over by now, but I just came on to tell you why the Packers must win, because they used to be called the Indian Packers, and the elites are letting us know that it's our time. Okay, if you ask me, how do I know we're Indians? Because my family told me you're Cherokee. Anybody that's so-called black here in America, were told you got Indian in your family. Our ancestors, our grandparents never knew of a slavery story. They never heard of anything about coming from Africa. They told you that you were from here. But when they took the fathers out of the house, or enticed the fathers out of the house, and they created public schools, and they educated our children, and they put certain things in the Bible to make you think you were nothing but a slave and a peon and filthy rags and dirty rags, and your righteousness is as dirty rags before God, and you're broken and you're nothing, and you need to grovel and weep and beg and mourn and beg a savior. You need somebody to die on the cross for you, shed blood. They were casting spells. Okay. And so they got us all, our grandparents, the children, everybody. They enslaved us in our minds. They gave us programming, all that. And so we lost our knowledge. We lost our knowing of who we were. But all that has to stop. And then you had Walter Plecker and other people from the Census Bureau to change our classification from Aboriginal. And then from Aboriginal, and then we were called Indigenous, and then we were called Indians, and then they called us colored, and then they called us Negroes, and then they called us Blacks, and then they called us African American. But the truth of the matter is that we are the Aboriginal people about which the Europeans wrote when they came over here. And Christopher Columbus wrote about us, or whoever those characters were. Most of them weren't even, Christopher Columbus allegedly wasn't even European. He looked like me. So even the 1828 Webster's definition told you who you were, but they lied to us. But that time period is over. We're waking up. So that's why I keep saying they're letting you know why the Indians have to win, because their time is up. All the paradigms even the religious stuff, the stuff they're going to release, the information about how through the Nicene Council and these other councils, they change biblical scriptures to fit the Roman Empire's programming to further enslave all of humanity, starting out with the people that they had made prisoners of war. It's going to all come up and it's going to all set us free. That's it, family. I hope you have a very good evening. I don't want to keep you. You guys know I can be long winded. So I love you so much. Take care and have a magnificent day. Good night, sweet dreams, and safe travels in your dreams tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. Peace.